Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. A much happier Chatting Leeds YouTube channel this evening. Just before we get into it, as always, please make sure that you are liking, commenting, and subscribing. As you can see, I'm joined again by Darren and Dillo from Only Leeds Bros. Dillo, we'll come to you first, mate. How are we? All good?
I'm buzzing, Charlie. I'm much better than what I was
Buzzing.
yesterday. Said to Darren, I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight, and I did. Woke up ready for work, and I said to myself, was that a dream? No, Leeds did beat Millwall, and we're back top of the league. So I'm delighted, absolutely thrilled. Just QPR now that's kind of worrying. But look, I'll be positive. I won't be negative.
Positive. Darren, how are we, mate? All good? Happy?
Yeah, I'm really, really happy, mate, because like that, I think we've notoriously this season, when we do lose, we bounce back and we get to win, and we did last night as well. It was one of them games you were kind of holding your breath until Tanaka scored, wasn't it? Because it just felt like the what if they hit us. I don't think Millwall really provided anything, did they really, apart from the Nunez one on Melier where he kind of flicks it away, and then Cooper had a free header in the first half, which is well wide. But it always just kind of felt like, with the offside goal and a couple of missed chances that we had, it was kind of starting to come into the back of the head, wasn't it? Oh, are we going to rue these chances? And thank God that we didn't. So yeah, really, really good bounce back. The lads showed really, really good mentality to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as you've said, I think every time that we have had a bit of a setback this season, I think we've always bounced back pretty well. I think every game that we've lost, we've come back to win the next game. Yeah. I think every time it's happened. So again, it shows, that the lads are switched on, and that was a good mentality amongst the group. Now, the lineup, when that came out, I was a very happy man to see a certain Joe Rothwell in the midfield. Again, no disrespect to Ilya Gruev, but it just doesn't offer the things that Joe Rothwell does. I mean, I'm guessing, Dillo, that you were as happy to see him in the midfield as I was.
Yeah, definitely. Just saying to Darren on our own stream, he's like the engine in that Leeds United, in the middle of the park. Just the tempo that he does bring to the team, and he's always looking to move, or he always wants it. He's crucial to have in that middle of the park, to be honest with you. But going back to what Mark did say in his presser today, it kind of makes me wonder to a certain degree, is he going to throw Gruev into the mix? He's going to utilise all his midfielders. And as I said in the previous video on yourselves, he needs to utilise the subs bench a bit more.
Yeah,
maybe that's something that he is doing this time. But back to Rothwell, he was just pure phenomenal. There's no other word for it. He was my man of the match anyway, on our player ratings. You could say Tanaka with a wonder strike, Solomon with the goal that he scored, but just his overall play, he was just always looking to get forward. He's an outstanding player, to be honest. I think we're very lucky to have him this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's one of our most underrated players, really. I think
Definitely.
Obviously there's the likes of Firpo, there's Tanaka, there's DJ, and I get why those players get the plaudits that they do, because they've been amazing for us as well. But Joe Rothwell, I mean, Darren, I don't know about you, but it's just clear to see, isn't it? Like, you don't have to be an outstanding tactician to realise when Joe Rothwell's on the pitch, he's just always wanting to look forward. Whenever he's got the ball, even when as he's moving, he's dictating to the players to move forward. And and even if there's not a pass on, if he sees just a little bit of space, he's darting into it. He's trying to make things happen. Whereas Gruev, I think, is quite stationary and quite static, and is a bit too stiff in the midfield, I think. But I mean, it was just amazing last night, wasn't it? Just a real engine in that midfield, like Dillo said.
I think it's just the difference, lads, when you look to Portsmouth and then you look at that game last night, the difference, you can see it itself, and
exactly,
so underrated and so undervalued in the game, lads, what Joe Rothwell can do. To like what you said, Charlie, he's always looking forward. His first touch is always positive, looking to get the ball forward quick. The tempo that he plays at, when he hasn't got a pass, he will drive into that space as well. And it does seem to be a dying breed, that type of midfielder nowadays, doesn't it? That midfielders seem to be just happy enough to get the ball, take it on the half turn and pass it and, open their body out. Where you see with Joe Rotwell, he has absolutely no problem bursting into that space, and kind of making things happen. And he was treading balls. A couple of them were a little bit long yesterday, but you could see he was looking for that forward ball every single time to try and get Bogle, to get Firpo in as well. I thought it was really, really good last night. And I just think he has to start now, lads. And surely Daniel Farke realises after the game yesterday that he can't be gone with Ilya Gruev, because every time he's gone Gruev and Tanaka, it just hasn't worked, lads. It's just slow, it's drab, and we look totally disjointed in the midfield, don't we, with the two of them in there?
Darren, that was something I was literally going to get onto, because me and you kind of been banging that drum. When we're looking at these games and it's getting dragged out at the back between Rodon and Stroke, just tip-top passing. That's when Gruev is in the park. But when Rodwell's on, he looks for it and he's just constantly, give me the ball, I want to go. Yeah. But as well as that, back to what you were saying there, it's set pieces as well, lads. Like, unbelievable. The balls he was whipping in on them corners yesterday. Look, unlucky that Rodon and Stroke didn't get a head onto it, but they're phenomenal. His set pieces alone, that shows his quality. So not only just to have him for driving Leeds up the pitch and his general overall passing ability, but his set pieces as well are crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. But there was one thing that Farke said, I think he might have said it after the game last night, which did baffle me a little bit, is that he was saying that he loves Joe Rothwell, but that he doesn't feel like he can play him 3 times in a week. Yes. But then I think, well, you've got Dan James, you've got Solomon, you've got Firpo, all these players that are able to play, 3 games in a week. And Joe Rothwell, to my knowledge anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, has he had an injury this season? Has he ever been sidelined? I don't think he has. So his injury record's good. So it isn't like there's any real threat of that happening.
It doesn't make sense.
I don't know, lads. I'm just a bit confused by that comment.
When Gruev and Ampadu was out, he did play 3 games in 6 days with no other midfielders. We had to go with Tanaka and Rotwell. So he's kind of doing himself there, because we did say that earlier on in the season when we hadn't, got the luxury of the options that we do now. Gruev and Rotwell and Tanaka did play the 3 games in 6 days. So it doesn't really make sense in what he's saying there now, unless he's kind of saying, at the minute, is the season kind of catching up with him a little bit? Maybe if he means it from that angle, right? Possibly, I understand that. But to say that, generally, he's kind of making it sound like that he's sort of like a Boyram type of player, that you can't kind of trust him for 3 games in 6 days, which I think is absolute nonsense, because we've seen it this season. We've seen he's more than capable of doing it.
I just think it kind of frightens me that he's saying that, because as Dilo said earlier, I can see him putting Gruev in on Saturday. I really can. And
me too.
I just, even my uncle that I go to the games with, and he's the most positive about everybody, or he tries to be anyway. Even he said if Gruev is in that midfield on Saturday, he said I'm at a loss. I just don't understand it.
I think when you look at Tanaka, Darren, you said it in the first half. Tanaka was very deep at times. Now, not that it was a big ordeal. I think we can all agree, if the ball is getting knocked around at the back, I think of everyone on the pitch, you trust Tanaka to not lose it or not make a hash of it. Mm-hmm. But when Gruev is in there with Tanaka as well, the instruction, what I can see is the 2 of them are playing very deep. And it seems to be with Rowell when he does be in the team. He's the one, as I said, dragging the players up. So maybe is it a thing that he has Tanaka sitting too deep when Gruev is on, when the 2 of them are in the middle of the park, and won't let the shackles off Tanaka. That's the vibe I'm getting. Because I feel like Tanaka could potentially drive Leeds up the same way Rowell does, but under the circumstances of how is Gruev going to cope? Because Tanaka can cope,
I just don't think they complement each other at all whatsoever.
I was literally just going to say that.
And I think, to be honest with you, lads, I think they stifle each other's play, to be honest with you. And I think I think even if you probably put Gruev in there with Rotwell, I think Gruev would perform a lot better as well. I just think the 2 of them together. And just sometimes you see that in football where it just doesn't work out. Charlie, you'd know a lot more as well from England when you look back at Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips, 2 brilliant midfielders at the time. But the 2 of them, in my opinion, as an Irish lad, I don't think the two of them complemented each other in that England team. Two
No.
very, very good players, but the way they're playing again under the manager and stuff like that. But there is certain partnerships and chemistries that just don't work in football. Doesn't make them bad footballers. And I do think when Gruev and Tanaka are together, he really brings down Tanaka's game, which isn't good as well. Like whatever having a bad game yourself, to bring down the man that's beside you as well, it isn't good at all. So I just think, lads, it has to be Joe Rotwell. It really will. I think the rest of the team picked himself because the rest of them have been very, very good. And I just, like what you said, Charlie, it's a head scratch if it isn't going to be Joe Rotwell.
It is, mate. Yeah, and just to quickly go back to obviously the point on Gruev and Tanaka both kind of playing deeper. It actually surprised me when Tanaka first came into the team how good he is defensively, because I thought he would be the one, like you said, that would go further forward and Gruev would sit off that, But then, sorry, Rothwell, obviously, because it was both them that came in at the same time. But it shocked me in a good way how good Tanaka actually is defensively. Like he's always intercepting balls, and the tackles, they're always timed perfectly. He's a good passer of the ball, and it really did surprise me actually.
I think he reads the game very well, Charlie, doesn't he? I think that's probably one of his biggest assets, and his vision, and I think his awareness is probably the more so that he understands where to be with and without the ball. You can see him, he's constantly looking around, so when the ball comes to him, he knows exactly where the space is, and vice versa as well. He does sniff out the danger as well. He can see where the potential threat is coming from as well. So he's very good at doing that, and I think probably the biggest compliment that you can give Tanaka, and not very many midfielders can do this in the world anymore. I think he can play anywhere across that midfield, whether it's that defending 6, whether it's that 8 or even that 10. I know we haven't seen him in that 10, but I think he has all the assets to be a 10 if we need it as well, because he has a silky tone. He can take the half tone, he can change either side, and he has a pass on him as well. So that's probably the biggest compliment that you can pay a midfielder, to play them 3 roles is brilliant.
But
I actually think...
Sorry, Charlie.
No, you're all right. Go on, mate. Go on.
I was saying, even from last season, I think we're quite spoiled with Tanaka, considering, Glenn Kamara, no disrespect to him, but he wouldn't have a shot. He just done the necessities.
He's no Tanaka.
Yeah.
He's no Tanaka.
So, with Tanaka being able, how many goals? Tanaka's definitely scored 3 or 4 goals, has he?
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's his third. My favourite one was the back heel one that he got. That was a cracker last night. He scored a brilliant one at Hull as well. I
think it's three goals. I think
in the howler. So I think it's
and that's
3
based on playing.
That's 2 very good ones. The one last night and the one at Hull were crackers, and then the back heel as well was a lovely goal as well. So 3 very nice goals from Tanaka.
Glenn Kamara wouldn't even get himself in that position, though. I don't think, would he? He wouldn't have got in that.
If he's there last night and that's dropping him at the edge of the box, he's looking to play sideways every day of the week. He's looking to play sideways.
Oh, knock it back.
And it was crazy, the meltdown when he was sold as well, lads. And I just couldn't get on board with it. I'd be a big watcher of the Scottish League, Celtic and Rangers. I watched him a good bit for Rangers, and I didn't get the hype. I understood why he came into Leeds in the role that he could potentially play, but when he was in there with Ampadu, I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. Again, it's a little bit like the Gruev and Ampadu situation. They're 2 very similar players, and he was very, very safe, wasn't he? He's never having a shot in a million years like what Tanaka did last night.
Yeah. And Tanaka for me just makes time slow down sometimes when he gets closed down, and I go, no, right, it's okay. It's like it just looks like he's about to get dispossessed, and the next minute the ball's halfway up the pitch.
Back in, and he's gone with it.
Yeah, it's so good. But into the game itself, then obviously it was a lively opening sort of 5 to 10 minutes, wasn't it? I think everyone in Elland Road had a bit of a gasp when Millwall had a corner within the first minute or something. And I'm thinking, oh no, here we go again. Please don't do this. And I actually turned round to the lad next to me. I went, come on, let's just hopefully we actually score on his first attack, or hopefully we can improve. And then literally, I think it was Rothwell, ironically, that I think drove forward with the ball. He plays in Solomon. Obviously, it's the other end of the ground to me, so I thought it had gone straight in. But obviously it came off Jake Cooper and the keeper, like kind of both of them, didn't it? And then it bobbled in. But I thought after a very, very brief bit of pressure from Millwall, Dillo, I thought it was a good way to respond. That good start to the game.
Yeah, great. And do you know what? Going back, just a little bit of luck as well, Charlie. I think that's something
Yeah, yeah.
Leeds were lacking in, and we needed.
A scrappy goal for a change. A
Yeah.
scrappy goal for a
100%.
change.
Yeah, and I think it's
Yeah.
great for Solomon to get it as well because
Mm.
I think he deserves it. He's been playing quality. His dribbling on the ball and off the ball has been phenomenal. He's just always looking to create some sort of chance. And he can whip in a good ball as well. So for him to get the goal, I know it was an OG, but it's just great. It's just building that kind of character and confidence again in them. You know what I mean? You look at Nanto and Ramzani, and you can't get a look in. Solomon and James are just phenomenal at the minute. There's no stopping the two boys.
Exactly, and I think just to kind of go back to the Rothwell / Gruev argument, there's no way on earth that you see Ilya Gruev making that run forward to be involved in that goal, is there?
No.
And I think, again, even though he hasn't scored a goal for Leeds yet, the fact that he's contributing to, like, well, I don't think it was like an assist, but it was heavily involved in the build-up, Darren. That's just what he can give you, and again, mate, just a great start, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was such a good start to the game, and I said it as well on our watch along, Charlie. I said to Dylan, I said I'd like to just get an early goal here just to settle the nerves, because you could feel it. You could feel the tension around Elland Road when you're listening. There wasn't much singing, and you know straight away as a Leeds fan when Elland Road was on it and it's not, and it wasn't, and it kind of felt like you could feel kind of the tension coming from Elland Road. And I just said to Dylan, I said I'd love to get an early goal and try and build on it. Unfortunately, we didn't again, and it kind of seems to be our course so far this season. When we do score early on this season, we never really seem to kind of kick on and get the second and kind of home and hose the game without Millwall really kind of being a threat at us. But like you said, Charlie, great start. I have no idea how Cooper and the keeper Jensen has the mix up there. I think Jensen's anticipating the cross, so he's coming out to try and dive on it. Cooper gets the touch, it's gone the other way, and it ends up in the back of the net. So yeah, they made a complete mess of it. But I think at this stage of the season, lads, I think we'll take anything. And it's points over performances at the minute, because like that, we're into single figures,
Absolutely.
9 games to go. So it's points over performances, and we'll take that every day of the week.
I said to Darren earlier on the phone to him about the QPR game. And lads, if you offered me a draw, I'd take the hand clean off you.
Oh yeah, I think I mean there's I'm a bit on the fence with that in a sense of, like you say, I agree with you. Like, I would definitely take a draw, but then I think, should we be going into QPR away thinking let's take a draw? Like, no, we shouldn't. But again, if someone offered me it now, guaranteed, like it'll be a draw, then yeah, just take it and move on. Just take
sell
it.
The house, Charlie. I'd sell the house with
it. Yeah, exactly.
I think the only way I'd take a draw, I'm sure we'll get onto it a little bit more. The only way I would take a draw right now was if you were to turn around and say to me that Burnley and Sheffield United were going to slip up as well. If they weren't to win, then I'd say, right, a draw's a decent result because it's AUR, it's another game less, so we kind of go again. I think if we do get a draw and then Sheffield United win and Burnley win, then it's a little bit, it's kind of squeaky bum times again, isn't it?
Although I do think with the good thing about this win last night is that even if the worst comes to worst, we will still be in the top 2 going into the international break, which psychologically I think is huge. Really, I think even if we do slip up this week, and hopefully that isn't the case.
Or not.
God, yeah. I mean, if Leeds don't go up this season, I might have to fold this channel for good once again and just have a comeback. But no, all jokes aside, lads, I think, like I said, as long as we're in that top 2 in the international break, which we will be, then I am more than happy. Now, I don't want to give this too much airtime, but I need to discuss it because it was how there wasn't a yellow card in the whole game last night was an absolute joke. I don't know if you could pick it up. Obviously, watching it, you probably could. Yeah. But the amount of fouls and again, I ain't saying I want a yellow card for every tackle, but there was one where I don't know if it was first or second half. Their player literally grabs Dan James and literally throws into the floor, and he blows up.
O'Brien. It was Joe O'Brien,
but no yellow card.
Was that Darwin Núñez?
No, it was Joe O'Brien in the first half, Dylan, where he has the ball. Dan James anticipates it, nicks it off him. So Dan James is about to go, and he pulls him down. It's cynical. Yeah. It's cynical. You're stopping your man. You're stopping the attack. It's a blatant yellow card. How he wasn't given the yellow card there beyond.
It's crazy.
What was there a penalty claim as well, Darren? I don't know that now.
I
I'm just
think
gonna
it was
keep going
Charlie
with
would know
Darren
more because
Núñez.
Charlie was in the south. We didn't get to watch the replay of it. They didn't show it up, Charlie, but it was the one on Dan James where he's coming into the box and he's hammered. Your man just body checks him, cleans him over. There was kind of half a show for a penalty, and then it was.
Yeah.
Still
But
haven't
kind of
seen it
seemed
back.
border. It seemed like it was at the edge of the box. I think it was probably more of a free kick rather than a penalty.
Yeah,
But again, it should have been a yellow.
I think it.
No, because when it happened initially, I was kind of saying that that's a free kick. But then you said no, it's a penalty. It should be a penalty. And I was saying, well, definitely then it should be a penalty. Considering I was like, how wasn't he given that? All right, fair enough. Move on. I didn't know it was in the box. Well, that was the vibe I was getting.
I personally think if that had been given as a penalty, it'd have been soft as a penalty. But I think at the very least it was a free kick, personally. But again, there was even tackles that we did on them, and I was thinking, oh, this is a booking, and then he just wouldn't give one, and it got to the point where the crowd started chanting about the fact that he'd forgotten his cards or something, because it got to that point. It was that bad, and obviously there's the goal that got disallowed from Joe Perreault, which
Letter incoming.
I can't comment on that because it was at the other end of the ground to me. It didn't look offside from where I was, but I've seen the screenshots on Twitter and everything today, and he's well onside into that. For me, that is a definite goal, Darren, I think, personally.
Yeah, it's 100% Charlie. And like what I said to Dylan last night as well, like, luckily enough, it didn't come back to bite us, and it didn't affect the game overall. Now, you could say that if we kind of score that earlier in the game, we probably might have went and got 3 or 4 possibly. So that's what way you look at it. But I think probably the most disappointing thing, Charlie, of that is it was a really, really good goal, wasn't it? It was a worked goal from the whole team between Pirro, the Aronson flick, and the footwork from Pirro as well to come back in on his right foot, and what a finish then into the back of the net, into the top corner. But I don't know how he's giving that. You don't blame the referee; it's the linesman. How he's calling that. The Millwall player is in front of him, which is blocking his line of vision. He's not even directly in line with it. So the only thing I can think, he's not in line with the play, and he gives it offside. And you need to be 100% certain that it's offside to give it. And there's no way that he was. He couldn't have been 100% certain that was offside.
I was more annoyed that it was actually something good that Brendan Aronson had done, and that he didn't get credit for it. I actually thought Brendan, just briefly on Aronson, I thought it was slightly improved. I thought it was a bit more involved. Obviously, again, there was frustrating moments from him, of course, there was, but I thought I actually noticed that it was on the pitch this time, unlike against Portsmouth. Dillo, I mean, just brief thoughts on Aronson, mate. What do you make of him?
Yeah, I have. I thought his passing, his general passing was much better, as opposed to just concentrating solely on his pressing. His movement off the ball. He was trying to create some sort of things at times. He did lose the ball a few times, and you could say just silly. Me and Darren could have been saying it throughout the season. There's just times where he holds onto the ball just a tad too long at times.
Yeah,
and should just release it. Solomon was a culprit of it as well last night.
Yeah, he was at
look,
times.
You're gonna get that though, But to be fair, I was actually quite impressed with him. And going back to you said, Charlie, actually knows them on the pitch, so
yeah,
it's usually a good sign.
And again, I'm not being negative about him because again, you can't expect a player to play well every single week. But I thought Dan James was quite off last night. I don't know if you agree. There was instances where it was getting played through, and he was kind of waiting for them to track back and get him at times. There was one in the second half, especially because it was in front of me, where he got played over, and you think he was just going to run straight onto it, and he kind of stopped to check himself, and then he got dispossessed. And I don't know, to me, it just seemed, again, he didn't play badly, it just didn't seem as effective. I don't know.
I think it's like his usual performance, Charlie, isn't it? Because we're used to seeing Dan James, his performances being up here. So when he drops below it, it's really noticeable then, isn't it? From him. But like what you said, you need to kind of check yourself because he didn't have a stinker. He just had a below his normal performance. Because you'd usually say every week he's probably an 8 or a 9. He was probably a 7, I think, this week. But like what you said, I did notice that last night, Charlie, and I did mention it to Dylan at the time as well. It felt like he was waiting for the ball a lot of the time to come to where we're usually seeing Dan James being on it he's gone, he reads the game very, very well. There was one stage I said to Dylan, how often we say that Dan James wasn't quick enough to that ball. And it's a run that we usually see him, getting to the ball. So I do think he was just off it a little bit. But look, he's allowed it. He's like, if it's one in every, 9-10 games, you let him away with it. But I do agree with you a little bit. He was just not his usual self last night.
I think he forced things at times, if I'm being honest with you. You just kind of force it, but he still
it's the
showed
left
that,
foot, lads, isn't he? Like, he's very, very good off the right foot. Not so much off the left, but he seems to, for some reason, keep trying to come back in on that left
he
foot.
Always likes to use his left foot, doesn't he? Especially for crosses as well. He likes to cross on his left foot.
It feels like a scoop, though, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like there's any kind of sort of accuracy or direction on it. It feels like you just feel like sandwiching it. Look, I'm just going to scoop this into the box and see where it goes.
For me, though, he forced things anyway, but he still showed that kind of determination and heart.
Yeah.
But then I was going to say what Darren said there as well. Just the left foot. Me and Darren kind of said, just do it first time. You're taking too many. You're there. Just put it in. But then at times, I think we've seen it at times when he does hit it with his right, he kind of blooms it across, like smashes it. So maybe that's something why he's using the wedge, Darren, with his left foot just to try and give it a little scoop.
Right it in. Yeah. Exactly. Not mind it being pretty, but he seems to use it a lot now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Coming in on that level.
As the
like what Dylan said, I actually think he was giving Millwall a chance to get back, where there was times where it was played through on his right foot. Like what Dylan said, he had a chance first time to play it across, and we usually do see him do that. He was taking one or two touches, coming back in, and then trying to scoop it in with his left. So not his usual kind of performance. It wasn't.
I just don't think he was as instinctive. He was trying to check himself every single time, and I think probably just got a bit carried away with that. But again, just briefly, I know he didn't score, but I thought Perot played really well last night. Me personally, I thought his link-up play and his passing and some of the one-touch play that he was doing with the likes of Aronson and Firpo at times. I thought it was really effective, to be fair. Again, I think all he needed was the goal. He did score a goal, which was wrongfully ruled out. But apart from that, I thought he had a good game, Dilo.
Yeah, that's what I have down here as well. His link-up play was brilliant. It's something that I'm noticing an awful lot about. People, including myself, have been kind of banging the drum that Piro's just a finisher. He's not really a general overall play type of player. In the last few games, he's definitely came into his own. Even when he has been playing the 10, I still don't agree with it. But when he's been in the 10, I think he's done an alright job, lads, to be fair. And he was very unlucky yesterday being ruled offside. As Darren said, he's very near that golden boot, and hopefully he keeps ticking away to get them. But I'm actually quite pleased with Piro. I think he's working a lot better and more efficient as opposed to just, at times, he's like a trampoline.
Seems more confident.
Yeah.
Seems more confident, especially in build-up play. Obviously, as I've said, if that goal had stood, it was a really nice move between him and Aronson, wasn't it? And it was a lovely finish as well. But obviously, I think the first half probably died down a little bit, especially after we scored. It was a little bit, I wouldn't say even, because they didn't really trouble us that much, but they seemed a bit more in the game. But I thought second half, lads, I thought we really stepped it up, even though it did stay 1-0 until the last sort of 10 minutes. I think if that had finished 1-0, it'd have been the most dominant 1-0 I've ever seen. I just thought they couldn't get near us there. The only player for them who I thought was half decent was the kid that got both goals against us in the cup, that Aziz. He looked half decent, but again, he didn't really affect the game how he did, especially in that cup game. And I feel like it's a bit of a common theme, especially at Elland Road. We always seem to step it up in second half, don't we, Darren?
Yeah, I think so. Look what you say, Charlie. I think the second half was a lot better from us. I think we upped the performance a little bit more, and it only felt like one team was going to go and get a second goal. We really did dominate them in the second half, and like you said, going back and touching on Aronson a little bit as well, he had an opportunity as well. One went flashed over, I actually think it was his south stand as well, that was just over the bar as well. So it just felt like it was a matter of time before the second goal came. But just touching on just before the goal came, it went to Daniel Farke, and you could see Gruev and Boylan were just about to come on. So you could probably feel Daniel Farke's thinking, and probably every Leeds United fan at the time is...
His subs were quite late, weren't they? His subs were quite late.
And we were talking about it, Charlie. Because we're used to seeing, obviously, the 70th minute, hit the 70th minute, Dylan was saying we need a shake up. I was saying, Dylan, I don't know. This is in the balance here. Like, we're okay. And I think one change that doesn't work could basically lose us points here. So I was like, I just leave it. I was like, if we can see the game out by the way we're playing, because no one was playing badly. I thought, look what you said. I thought Aronson was a lot more involved. James was doing his defensive work. Solomon was his usual self. Pirro was lively. The both lads in midfield, Tanaka and Rotwell, very good. We were solid at the back. So you were scratching your head kind of thinking, well, where do we change it? Yeah, we want a second goal. But are you taking a risk to try and get a second and then conceding the other end and risk, spoiling the pie? But I think at that time, and we all kind of felt as Leeds fans, like, right, we haven't got the second goal here. We've had the opportunities. He was bringing Gruev and Boyer on to kind of shore things up, and to be a little bit defensive. And you could just see, if any of you seen it back, you could see the pure relief on Daniel Farke's face when the ball hit the back of the net, because he was like, thank God, because I felt like it was going to be a bit of a slog down the last couple of minutes, because 5 minutes added time then as well. You're thinking 10 minutes in, 1-0, we haven't got the second, and you're going defensive. But it kind of feel like that second goal, you could feel the relief around Elland Road, even not being there. You could just see it on the telly. So really, really
it was a big it was a big relief when that second goal went in. I can tell you that. But I mean, I actually felt it needed a shake up though. I agree with Dillo on that. I did think it needed a shake up. You could tell that, especially like James and Solomon out wide, they looked a bit tired, so we're getting a bit leggy towards the end. And I was just thinking, we just need a bit of something different, whether it be Nonto, whether it be Larger to come on and just try and affect the game. But then again, I also understand your point as well, in the sense of like, why change it if it's going well? It was, I think it was a case of is kind of damned if he does and is damned if he doesn't, really.
Yeah.
But I think, as you've said, it was relieved when that ball hit the net, because he knew it was game over then, and he could make his subs and everything was all good. But just briefly, the goal itself, I mean, I actually thought the chance had gone begging as the ball went across the box. I was thinking, oh no, and then just Tanaka and if you actually watch the replay back, he's actually dictating play about 2 seconds before, and then he sees the ball flashing over. He just thinks, I'm just gonna whack this straight into the goal. But a beautiful strike, Dillo, wasn't it? Beautiful goal.
Yeah, Ayo, what a man.
What a man.
It was a great goal, screamer. I think he's really coming into his own, and you can just see he's happy. He's happy with playing with Leeds, and he enjoys his football. I think he gets it, and like that new player that's coming in, like him, it's only going to make him fall in love with the club even more if we get promoted. So really pleased with him, to be fair. I think he's been the best signing of the season. He's probably one of the best players on the team, if I'm being honest with you. He dictates everything. He just does the necessities that you want, nothing too fancy, but just has that bit of noticeable flair about him. So I love him. But the goal itself, it's just what you want to see though from your midfielders as well, as opposed to, Pirro. Even though I'm a Pirro lover, don't get me wrong, but just you want the midfielders to be having a shot every now and again. So
and the fact that he can play defensive and he can do everything in that role, and yet he has a shot on him like that, and he can chip in with goals as well. I think all I'd like to see now is a Rothwell goal. I think he deserves one. He definitely needs one before the end of the season, 100%. But before we end the stream, lads, we'll have a brief look ahead to QPR. I know we're all dreading it, but let's just get it out of the way. For Darren first, mate. Just how are you feeling going into it? Are you nervous, or do you feel a bit better now after that last night?
Yeah, I think I feel a bit better, Charlie. I think if we had a slip last night going into QPR, then it's tough then, isn't it? You're talking no wins in 3 and then heading down to QPR, where notoriously it's not good. No. I think I had a little bit of luck. We did, just before we came on, we did our match builder for QPR, and having a kind of look into QPR, the run of form that they're on at the minute. 4 losses out of the last 5. It doesn't look great for them. Obviously, we all know as Leeds fans, it does have to end somewhere. Hopefully not against us. But they do concede a lot of goals as well. They've been decent enough at home this season as well. It does have to be said. I'm actually confident, and I said it to Dylan, I've no way of backing this up whatsoever. I just feel confident. Do you ever just get that as a Leeds fans where you just have a feeling? I think the Millwall one was a bit of a release off. The last time we lost against Blackburn, we went on a nice little win and run as well, where we were unbeaten in 17. And I just see that happening again. again, I said to Dylan, it might come back and it might bite me, but I'm actually really confident going down to QPR. And I think to right them wrongs of last season after getting thumped 4-0, where it was just so bad down there. Yeah, I don't know. I see us down. I said 3-0.
3-0. Wow. Okay. I like it. I like
Another nice early on the Camden Airs. Another nice in 3 or 4 minutes in. One before half time and then one before the end.
I was really confident prior to Portsmouth, and we all know how that turned out. So I'm trying to I'm trying to still keep my feet firmly on the ground. But again, I am confident though, mate. I agree with you. I am confident. I feel a lot better after that last night, 100%. But Dillo, as he said, obviously 4-0 defeat there last season. That's kind of I've still got a bit of PTSD from that, I think, mate. But I mean, as you said earlier, I probably would snap your hand off for a draw, but at the same time, a win would be perfect, wouldn't it?
I think what I was saying to Darren on our own stream, I think this is going to define Leeds United season, considering Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday playing on Sunday as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'll get the negative bit out of the way first. It's QPR, it's London, it's a half-12 kickoff. He's probably going to start Gruev. It's not looking good, lads. And we're away from home. It's not looking good.
I'm like the ultra positive. He's ultra negative, and Charlie's just a man in the middle trying to balance it all here.
I try and look on both sides so that either way I'm not too disappointed. I'm just like, it is what it is. But I mean,
the only thing that's kind of giving me the bit of positivity is the win at Millwall. I feel like the lads can. Darren's going with 3-0. I was going with a 2-1 scrappy. I think 90th minute sort of carry on. How it is.
I take that as L.
I know you. It's all right. But this is the game though. I've been dreading. I've been dreading this one. Darren will tell you. I mean, this is months I've been dreading this one.
I mean, I would take a 90th minute winner. I don't think my heart rate could take it, but I mean, I would. But yeah, look, like you say, all the factors going into it are all just negative, aren't they? Early kickoff in London at Loftus Road.
Sorry,
but
lost there 4-0 last week. Grove's going to start.
Yeah. But like you said, to turn it into a positive, something's got to give on that, hasn't it? Like it's not notoriously a good place for us to go, but hopefully we can put that right. I think they should be going into it full of confidence, especially after last night. I know they've lost, is it 4 of the 5? The last 5 you said, mate, but
4 of the last 5 they've lost. Yeah.
If anybody's gonna intervene with that trend, it'll be us, won't it? But I don't know. I'm flip flopping with it. I feel a certain way now, but I'll feel a different way on match day. Like I say, I'll be doing my own preview tomorrow, so I've got time to kind of stew on it in terms of a prediction. But Darren, you said 3-0. Is that right?
I said 3-0. Like I said, Charlie, I've no explanation of where it's coming from, where the positivity is coming from. It's just there. I really am. And Dylan, I probably do get a little bit when we win a game of football, everything's brilliant. We're gonna win it all, and then when we lose, I'm like, it's crumbling, we're falling apart again. I'm definitely very much like that.
I'm very much like that as well, mate. To be fair,
like that all the time.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Dylan's just negative all the time. Dylan, we'd win, and Dylan would be like, it's gonna fall apart in the next game.
Dylan, you said a 2-1 win. Are you sticking with that?
Yeah, 2-1 scrappy win.
2-1 scrappy.
I never say Leeds are going to lose, but
no, I don't either.
Yeah,
but as I said earlier, lads, I mean, it's guaranteed that we'll be in the top 2 going into the international break. It's just whether we're going to be top or second. But I think psychologically, that is a huge advantage going into that international break. Hopefully Swansea can do us a favour against Burnley. Hopefully that Egan Riley red card doesn't get overturned and that he is out for the 3 games. But only time will tell. But as we've said already, that game on Sunday in Sheffield, that's massive. Especially Sheff Wednesday going into game, having come from 2-0 down at Norwich to win the game as well. So they'll be flying high, won't they? They'll be confident. Obviously, Sheffield United need a win, really, especially if we win against QPR. So again, it's it's a big weekend, isn't it? And then for 2 weeks we can kind of just chill and we can relax and just take
We can
a
try
breather.
grow some hair.
Yeah.
And Burnley go to Swansea as well, who are very, very
Exactly.
inconsistent. They seem to win, lose,
They
win,
are,
lose.
yeah.
That kind of seems to be. I had a little bit of a look at them. So they've lost the last one. So hopefully this one is a win as well. So it'd be just so good. That'd be the perfect weekend. We go QPR, win, and see the two of them bottle it, wouldn't it? Just I'm praying for it.
It'd settle the nerves altogether, wouldn't it? It'd settle me anyway.
I think I just need a big mental reset in this international break because the last 8 games are it's gonna be a bumpy ride, isn't it?
Emotional roller coaster.
It feels like to be down to 9 games now, Charlie, isn't it? Like single figures. Like it feels like the season's gone on for so long, but it also feels like it's gone so fast as well, hasn't it? Like it's been an emotional roller coaster. The finish line's in sight.
I was literally having that thought at work today. I was thinking, God, it's single digit amount of games now. Like it's nearly over. I like it, but like you say, every game that goes by, if we're racking up points on the board, like you say, it's just one game at a time. It's just and hopefully it all works out in the end. But I think we'll leave it there. Like I say, it's been another good one, lads. Appreciate you joining me once again. Like I say, we'll try and make it as regular as we possibly can. But yeah, like I say, guys, a big thank you to everyone that's watched and everyone that will watch after the live stream ends. As I said a few moments ago, I'll be doing my QPR preview tomorrow night, so make sure you check that out. The link to Only Leeds Bros is in the description, so go and check those boys out as well.
Appreciate that, Charlie.
And yeah, like I say, fingers crossed for Saturday, but you'll be getting my thoughts on that tomorrow. And hopefully, lads, when we next see each other, we'll be comfortably sat at the top of the league. Fingers crossed.
Let's go.
Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in a bit. Cheers.
Thanks, Mel.